This is the reason why 99% of men are born broke, live broke, and die broke. This is the absolute brutal truth, and this will most probably happen to you if you don't actually apply the concepts that I'm gonna try and convey in this video. So first things first, why I'm actually critical to talk about this is because I went through a process of being completely broke and negative on my bank account to making 40K a month with e-commerce and living my dream life, quote unquote dream life. I'm living pretty good. So first things first, we have to get some prerequisites out of the way so that you can understand the rest of this video. The first being that your life is a manifestation of your identity. Simply said, your success and everything you do in your life will be defined by the identity that you absorb inside of yourself, in your inner self. So, I'm going to give you an example as to how much of your identity reflects in your physical reality. So, as you all know, there's a lot of people that win the lottery. So you have lottery winners, and these are the people that are actually like live the broke lifestyle they had, like no money, live the dead-end job, etc. So they went from doing a 9-to-5 dead end to now having, like, let's say 10 million, 10M in their bank account. Although it doesn't work that way, but let's say for the purpose of this video, they went from a dead-end job, 9-to-5, living a broke lifestyle, to now having 10 million in their bank account, cold hard cash. Now, you probably don't know, but 70% of lottery winners go broke. Now, why is that? Well, it's simply because their identity is that of a broke person. And no matter how much money, for how much time you give this person, they will still resort to their old lifestyle. They will still go back to their old lifestyle until their actual cold hard identity changes. So if you have 10 mil in your bank, but you're broke, identity, broke, that identity, those old habits, old routines, old actions, old thinking processes will now reflect the same. They will reflect, even though you have $100 million, $10 million, $1,000, however much money you have, your identity will still be reflected and manifested through your actions, through your habits, through your thinking processes. So if your identity is that of a broke person, but you technically have a lot of money, you will still have bad financial habits. You'll still be probably lazy, so you won't invest that money in a smart way. You'll still be uneducated, because if you were educated, you wouldn't have the identity of a broke person. You will still be uneducated. You'll spend on BS. You'll spend your money on bullshit, on hookers, cocaine, and all this dumb shit that people do. So eventually, these habits, these actions, and your whole identity will catch back up to you. It will catch back up to you. Even though you have a lot of money, you will still resort to your old lifestyle of being broke. That is why 70% of lottery winners go broke. Most of these people just give into their old desires that they tried to fulfill but didn't have enough money to do so. So they give into their old desires. They still have bad thinking processes. They're still scarce in their mind. They're anxious with money. They're nervous with money. They don't know how to invest it. They don't know actually how to use it in a smart and efficient manner that's going to build them more wealth. Because if they knew those things, they would already be rich. They wouldn't be buying lottery tickets. Now, this goes way in depth, but that is the basic premise. So this is the prerequisite. Now, the core reason why most people live broke, are born broke, and die broke is because they go through the so-called PSYOP phase. Now, this technically doesn't end. It is constantly resolving and going around us, but some people are simply aware enough to not let it infect their minds. So the PSYOP phase is simply the education process or journey this is the education journey, and your education journey is actually the biggest thing that's going to build your identity. Of course, along with parenting and your environment and everything that you absorb during your childhood, but your education journey is a big factor to building your identity that's going to stick to you and stick with you for the rest of your life, unless you watch this video until the end and apply the principles. So in order to understand this better, let's actually separate this. Let's actually assign attributes. So identity is basically what you think of yourself, who you think of yourself to be, who you are. Now this is your physical and your mental. So who you are in the physical world and who you are in the mental world. Who you think of yourself to be will be reflected in the physical reality always. So if you constantly think of yourself as a lazy person, you will constantly take action as a lazy person, which reflects in your physical reality in the eventual success or demise that you experience in life. So your identity is built of a few things. It's built from your beliefs, or it is consisted of your beliefs, your convictions, your perception, your thinking processes, or your attention, focus, whatever you want to call it. Basically, the number one thing that is occupying your mind constantly. So your beliefs are simply the things that you believe to be true about the world. Your conviction are the things that you know are true about the world, and nothing in the physical world can convince you otherwise. So for example, when you walk into a room, you click the light switch, you don't actually think about is it gonna turn on or off. You just know it's gonna turn on. You have the conviction, and that is a simple example. Your perception is essentially the way that you perceive and see the world, the way that you observe the world. Your perception is actually a big part of your identity. This is one of the most important things here. And your thinking processes, your attention, your focus is simply what is occupying your mind most of the time during your active time of day when you're conscious. So, what does happen in the education journey is that the school, the things you read, the things you observe in your environment, in your school, are all building your beliefs, your convictions, your perception, and occupy your thinking processes. And all these things eventually add up and compound over such a long period of time that they get cemented inside of your mind as who you are, and this is what you call your identity. So for example of a belief that most people adopt during their education journey is that life is fair. Most people adopt this, so they experience the education process. They experience that if they learn this much and they take this much action, they're gonna get X amount of results. But that is not usually how it goes, especially in business. So you read a few chapters, you learn 3 chapters in a book, you go out to present what you've learned and you get a grade based off of how well you learned. And that cements a belief that life is fair, like everything is fair. If I do this much, I will get this much, etc. But that is not actually what happens in business, and that is the cold truth about life. Another belief that a lot of people adopt is, for example, that money is scarce. Now this of course also comes from your parenting and from the actual physical environment you're living in during your childhood. But people adopt the belief that money is scarce because they see other students having no money. They see their teachers talking about how you need to save a lot of money, how money is very hard to get by, how, I don't know, online business is not a secure option, it's a risky thing to do, so you should stick to your studies, stick to your diplomas, etc. So they adopt the beliefs that money is scarce, they adopt the beliefs that a diploma is worth a lot. And a common belief that I see in my own country is that people think that without a diploma you can't get any job. You're simply worthless. I mean, technically you are worthless amongst the average normies. They think of you as lesser than them if you don't have a diploma, and they do, even though you may be in a more successful life position than them. But you come to believe that the diploma is worth a lot, but it's actually not. Like if a million people have the exact same diploma and they have exact same knowledge, it's not really worth something. If everybody had a Lambo, the Lambo wouldn't be worth anything. So a diploma is worth a lot and you can't get a job without a diploma. And this is the most stupid belief for me, because I saw with my own eyes that that is not the truth. So for example, a lot of people finish high school and they go to college and they get a diploma and they expect to get a really good, nice paying job. Most of the times that doesn't happen. They just get stuck trying to find a job in today's market. But for example, when I was 16, 17, I think, I actually got an internship at a cybersecurity position, because that was my primary occupation at the time. I didn't do e-commerce at that time. So I found my own internship. I found a company that's gonna have me as an intern working at this really important cybersecurity position as a guy that is not even 18. I'm not even legal yet. So I managed to find my own job simply because I had the knowledge, I had a good outreach message, I was a competent guy, and I got paid a lot for that. So me seeing that with my own eyes and experiencing that crushed this belief forever for me. Nobody can ever convince me that a diploma is gonna get me a job, because it simply is not. If I know more than you and you know less, when you go apply for the same job position and I show that I'm more competent than you, even though you have 10 diplomas, I'm still gonna get the same job. Of course, I wouldn't apply to it, but that's what's gonna happen. So a diploma is worth a lot. A diploma is your gateway to success in the job market, etc. So these are all beliefs. And this is what you adopt in the school system. So what you also adopt is a certain perception. You perceive that money is evil, or that money, this is the craziest one to me, the money doesn't equal happiness. People will always say to you, like, money is not happiness, money won't make you happy. And I mean, technically to a certain point it won't, but like when you logically think about it, what makes you happy as a guy? Providing for your family, giving your people nice experiences, being able to help other people, being able to eat good food and live a longer life, being able to be healthy, being able to feel energized every day, being able to feel proud of what you've achieved. This all comes from money. Like, of course you can be happy in a broke position. You can do that, of course. But like, to think that money is not happiness is absolutely stupid. It's absolutely detrimental to your journey if you want to actually make a lot of money. So money doesn't equal happiness, and you perceive this. You see, basically your perception is also determined by your RAS. So in your brain there's a thing called the RAS. It is your reticular activating system. And you can think of your RAS as a filter. Whatever you feed it, whatever you feed your mind the most, that is what's gonna be filtered in your physical reality. So you've heard of the example, if you think of the red car, you go out into the street, you will see way more red cars. That is simply because you fed your RAS something that you want to focus on. So if you focus on that money is not happiness and money is evil, you will constantly be seeing rich people that say that they're depressed. You will see actors that they say that they're depressed. You will see pedophiles, you will see Jeffrey Epsteins that are evil and they have a lot of money. So this perception and this belief and conviction gets cemented in your mind, and you will never see people such as myself or other people that say that money brought them happiness because they now live a better life. You will not see those people because your RAS is filtering them out and only leaving the things that you feed it, which is that money is happiness, money is not happiness, and that money is evil and rich people are evil, and to get rich you have to be very evil, etc. So these are all the dumb things that you get programmed. You get injected these things into your own mind and you don't even notice it. And if you're not aware enough, these things will literally destroy your life. Like your identity, you cannot escape it. It is something that cannot be escaped. Your identity will always be following you. Now, the good thing is you can always change your identity. You can change certain fragments of it. You can build a new identity. We're going to talk about that, but you will never be able to escape your identity. You can think and want to be rich all the time. You can get a lot of money, but you will always go back to your old roots. You will always go back to your old identity, old living patterns, old living habits. You'll always go back to them until you can change your identity. So that is why the PSYOP is so crucial, and being able to notice the PSYOP is so crucial. And people that don't, they're gonna get fucked in life. That is simply the truth. So that is the PSYOP phase. This is what you go through for like 10 years of your life. You have like, I don't know, depending on the country, 8-9 years of middle school, then you have 4 years of high school, then you have like 4 years of university, and then you go find a job for 2 years. Like all these things are building your identity. If you're not aware enough to notice it, notice the bad things about it, you're gonna get fucked. So another key thing that you get taught in the school system is to be a victim. Now, this is not most people, of course, but you adopt a victim mentality. You get pretty soft because, as I said, the school teaches you that life is fair and that you shouldn't be extreme, you shouldn't be maximizing certain things about your life, you shouldn't be obsessing over certain things in your life. You're taught that extremes are bad, you're taught that being obsessive and being, I don't know, too stressed and going all in or into something and taking risks is bad. All these things build a victim mentality inside of you. So when you have a victim mentality, you absolve yourself of all responsibility. Absolve of responsibility. And absolving yourself of responsibility as a guy that wants to succeed is like putting fucking cement boots and throwing yourself in the ocean. You're just gonna get fucking drowned. Like there's no way you're getting back up. If you absolve yourself of your responsibility, you'll fall into this trap of thinking that nothing is your fault and the world is happening to you and you're just flowing in the world and you wait for life to carry you to a nice beach, but that's never gonna happen. It may be carrying you to a nice beach for a certain period, but you'll always go back to the fucking dark ocean. So when you absolve yourself of responsibility, you stop taking action, at least significant action. So stop taking action. You will stop taking action that's gonna actually build your life. You will stop taking risks. You will stop making these hard choices because you believe in the system that faith is something that we all experience and that fate determines our life and it's not our control, etc. And when you absolve yourself of responsibility, you simply stop caring about certain things about yourself. You stop caring about the problems because the world taught you that you should be depressed and that life is meaningless and money doesn't matter and life is not something that is important. Like you get taught all these bullshit things. And when you do this, you're cementing yourself in the fate of despair. Like that is a cold hard truth. So you must never absolve yourself of all responsibility. You must always think that everything that is happening to you for a certain reason, and you must find that reason. If it's a good thing, you must find the reason why. Maybe you put in a lot of hard work for the past 6 months and now you get a big payout. So that is probably your reason. Maybe you did a good deed on the street and God rewarded you. Or maybe you were a fucking jerk off and you did bad things and now you got hit with a bad medical condition. Like you must recognize these things and adopt them in a way that is going to be channeled in a positive manner. So whatever bad that is happening to you, you must take it with full control. Take it as something that God gave you to teach you some kind of lesson. And you take full responsibility for that. I went through a lot of fucking problems in my own business journey. And I always took responsibility. Because most of the times it was my mistake, it was my mind not being educated enough on certain topics, and I got hit with very fucking bad problems, but I always took them with responsibility. I always took them as something that God is giving me to teach me a lesson. And maybe if I didn't go through these problems and all these stresses in the past 1, 3, 5 years, I would be in a worse position now. Or maybe if I got hit with those problems now, it would be more detrimental to my life than if it happened 1 year ago, 2 years ago. So you must always accept responsibility. Always think that there's something you can do that's gonna change the fate of life to be in your favor. And until you can ditch your victim mentality, you will certainly not be successful. You will certainly always be a guy that is drifting through life. You will always be a middleman. You will always be in between two things. You will always be sitting in two chairs at once. You'll not be anything. You'll be a fucking retard for the rest of your life. So, the next thing is success isn't fair. Success isn't fair, and I got taught this brutal lesson, I would say 2-3 years ago. So my first official business venture was a cybersecurity company with my friends. I had 2 friends from high school that I started a cybersecurity company with, and cybersecurity was my obsession at the time because I thought that's gonna actually build me the success that I wanted for a long time. So we had this company. We were doing a lot of outreach. We were trying to get clients so we can sell our services to them and secure their companies, products, whatever. And we were 16, 17 at the time. We weren't legal. We didn't have an official company. So we did this outreach. We closed no deals, and we did a lot of outreach. We did USA markets, European markets, we did everything. We didn't close deals. And the deals that we did close, somebody else took it from us because we were simply too fucking nice. We were too soft. We didn't recognize these things. We weren't educated enough. And we thought that success was fair. We thought that if we did enough work and that if we played it cool and if we played it like nice good boys, we're gonna get a lot of money, but that isn't the truth. People in the industry don't care about your age. They don't care about whatever problems you're going through. They're going to be ruthless with you. The people that make a lot of money are ruthless. They are extreme with their competition. And I learned this lesson in a very hard way. We're going through this period where we basically closed the deal, and there was one guy that we worked with, collaborated with. He was 40 years old or something, or he is currently, and he fucked us over. He basically stole our client in front of us. Didn't care that we were broke losers. He didn't care that we were grinding, that we were hustlers. He didn't care about that. He stole our fucking client, and he got paid a lot of money for that. And the client that he stole from us, he didn't also care. He went with him. He didn't go with us. He didn't have sympathy for us. So success isn't fair. Success will never be fair, and competition will never be fair. And until you can cement this in your mind, you will always be a soft guy in business. And when you're a soft guy in business, you will get crushed by other people. And you have to be the person that goes out there and does the crushing. You must be the guy that goes out there and is extreme with his competition. You must be the guy that takes deals from other people, not to be the guy that gets his deals stolen from him. So success is not fair. School has taught you that certain outcomes and certain achievements in life are fair, that competition is fair, and that being a team player is good, that these things are all good and something that is true about the real life, but it certainly is not. It's certainly not. So success isn't fair. You must be a ruthless, extreme guy that is obsessive with his craft, that is obsessive with his knowledge, with his work, in order to find a place for yourself in whatever industry you are in. And the reason I'm making a lot of these videos is just to share the lessons that I would have loved to know back then when I started my own business journey. So if you can adopt these lessons, you're essentially avoiding the problems that I went through. But the thing about most of you people watching this video is that you're too arrogant to do it. A lot of you people that don't make any money, that are not competent in business, that are not knowledgeable enough to share your own lessons, you will see this and you will not adopt the advice. And you will go through the same problems I did, and you will remember these videos. Maybe it's from me, maybe it's from somebody else. You're gonna think to that time and you will say to yourself, oh, why didn't I learn that? Why didn't I adopt that thing? Why didn't I listen to that guy? So please take all of these things very seriously. And I don't care if anybody watches this video, to be honest, but the people that do, you must adopt these things, because if you don't, you're gonna just go through bullshit in life that is not something that you want to do. And really interesting thing about people is that most of us don't always learn the hard way. Most of us really do. Most of us really need to go through some bad shit to learn things. But here's the opportunity to avoid that. So, okay, this is not something, this is the last slide. So, another thing I wanted to talk about is that when people in the PSYOP phase, so this is the PSYOP cycle, and this continues and continues throughout your whole life. Okay, this was a this is a retarded drawing, wait. Okay, so this is the PSYOP cycle, and you go through this cycle over and over again in life until you become aware enough to break through the cycle and see things from a different perspective, see things with a higher level of consciousness than you were before. So another thing that is an absolute determinant in if you're gonna live a successful life or not is if you stop or continue to learn. What most people do is they stop learning after their so-called education journey. They stop learning after uni or high school. They stop acquiring knowledge, which in turn means that they're gonna stop improving their life. There's a quote that your knowledge can never be stolen. They can steal your money, they can steal your home and your items and your objects and your materialistic things, but they can never steal your knowledge. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. The biggest difference between me 3-5 years ago and me right now is the level of knowledge that I possess. And me with my own knowledge can always make money and start a new business and do whatever I want because I'm ready to apply that knowledge in a ruthless and extreme manner, which is extraordinary for most people. So people will either stop learning or continue to learn. But some people are so retarded, now most people are so retarded that they continue to learn, but they learn the things that the 99% have access to. So they learn from the books such as Rich Dad Poor Dad and Atomic Habits, and I don't know, Can't Hurt Me. Like, I'm not saying these books are inherently bad, but the thing is, if you want to break out of the 99% and go into the 1%, you must be willing to do extraordinary things. And if you obtain average and brokey amounts of knowledge from bad resources and not reputable sources, you're gonna be like the average society. Like, you're gonna acquire average amounts of knowledge from average resources, you're gonna take average action, you're gonna live an average life. And that is only because you didn't apply the principle of always being extraordinary. You must be extraordinary in the way you speak, in the way you learn, in the way you do work, in the way you think about life, in the way you think about work. You have to apply that principle. You have to always be extraordinary because ordinary people take ordinary action. In order to break away from the ordinary, you must be extra, you must be extreme, you must be obsessive, you must be determined. So, always continue to learn, but learn from places that people avoid. So you can go on YouTube, you can find podcasts and videos that have like 100 views, and people will talk about really valuable topics inside of business, about e-commerce, about life. And most people don't watch it because it's like 4 hours long, or maybe it's unedited. And if you acquire that, if you obtain knowledge from such resources, you'll be able to break away from the ordinary. You're gonna be able to break away from the 99%, essentially putting yourself in the extraordinary category. And if you can take that knowledge and actually apply it, you're gonna be fucking successful. So continue to learn, but be amongst the 1%. Learn from places that people are not persistent enough and they're not focused and disciplined enough to take knowledge from. So read old books, read long books, read books about things people are not aware about, read books about consciousness, read books about psychology, read books about marketing that are expensive, such as breakthrough advertising. Read fucking about Jung. Read about these certain aspects of life that you can connect and interject with each other so that you can elevate your own mind and propel yourself to success in life. And you must apply that knowledge too. So continue to learn, apply the knowledge, and never stop being a student. A lot of people talk about this, but it's absolutely true. You must never stop being a student. You must never be arrogant enough to not take lessons from people that you might even think they are bad. You might not even like a person, but you're gonna be so arrogant that you're not gonna take advice from them, even though they have more knowledge than you. Now I can go online and I can watch videos from people that I think are retards, I think are dumbasses, and I can take lessons from those people if I deem that they're more competent than me in certain areas of life. So I can go online, I can go learn about Facebook ads from a nerd, which I don't personally like, but I'm gonna extract knowledge from him because he's simply more competent than me in that area of life, of business. But you are too arrogant to do that, which is why you're fucking stuck. So continue to learn and continue to apply knowledge. And a bonus is to be a narcissist. This is going to be a controversial one, but you absolutely must be a narcissist. People will tell you like, oh, don't be a narcissist, that's too bad, you cannot be so toxic, and being a narcissist is so toxic, and thinking only of yourself is so toxic. But people are so close-minded, they're like a fucking balcony, they're close-minded. So let's think about this. Narcissist thinks about himself and admires himself. This person thinks about themselves, admires themselves, loves themselves, and is proud of oneself to an extreme manner. When you do this, this reflects in your actions. What do you do when you love yourself? You go to the gym because you think and you know that you deserve a nice body because you love yourself so much. You work because you deserve and you believe that you deserve a better life, more financial stability. You learn because you know you can be smarter and you want to be better than everybody else in these certain metrics of life. So people will say that being a narcissist is bad because it actually makes their own insecurities and their own untapped potentials and ambitions come to surface. People say you shouldn't love yourself, you shouldn't admire yourself, you shouldn't be proud of yourself, because they deep down know they can do the same thing. They want to do the same thing, but they're too scared to do it. Either because of social norms, or maybe because they're too lazy, maybe because they're fearful of changing themselves so for an identity that is better. They're scared of sacrifice. They're scared of these things. And when you're a narcissist, when you love yourself, it's going to propel you in a positive manner. Of course, you can be a narcissist, still be a retard that doesn't achieve anything. But if you can channel this attribute of your identity into something positive, such as working because you deserve to have more money, going to the gym because you deserve to have a nice body, and learning because you deserve to be smarter, you can actually influence the lives of the people around you in a positive manner. So if you cannot love yourself, you cannot love anybody. This is an old quote. You cannot love anybody. Oh my god, what is this spelling? This teaches a lot about how much I learn. But basically, if you cannot love yourself, you cannot love anybody. If you can't love anybody, you're not going to be able to sacrifice certain things about your life for the benefit and for the positive outcomes of other people. If you can't love yourself, you're not going to be working hard enough to give your family a better life. You're not going to work hard enough to give your kids a better life. So this explains why people say that narcissism is bad and why I believe that narcissism is good, because I use that to propel myself higher and higher in life, in business, in whatever. So that is the bonus. That is the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you internalize everything, apply everything, And I hope this gave you a new perspective. That is what I hope. So that's pretty much it. Like and share. I'm gonna see you soon.